الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد قد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن العظيم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولو أنهم فعلوا ما يوعظون به لكان خيرا لهم وأشد تثبيتا. وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى أيضا في مكان آخر إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم صلاة وسلاما عليك يا حبي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the ni'mah of Islam. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and praise Him all the times for granting us this iman. Indeed, it is one of the greatest bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which He has given us. Many people were born non-Muslims, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this chance, this opportunity for us to be Muslims with the iman, with the true iman also. So because of that, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the times. And thereafter, we send the salutation and durood upon the Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam with love and affection altogether. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim salatan wa salaman alayka ya habib ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Respected elders, dear youth, and dear respected viewers, Assalamualaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our today's topic is regarding being persistent on the temptations which we are facing today's time. Staying away from the fitnas of this dunya and akhirah. Being persistent to the fitnas, it's a topic which we need to discuss now and then. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he mentions in the hadith when he was telling his companions, he said, time will come, Sayyid al-Zaman, the time will come where living in that time is going to be so hard, just like a sefer. You know that sefer, a flour sefer? When you're trying to save and trying to get some dust and all the dirt to remain, and you want only the good flour to go on the plate. And Rasulullah, he said, that time will be the same as this sefer, where only the good people will be few of them. Good Muslims with iman will be few. The rest will be just bad. And this time, Rasulullah, which you're talking about, is the time we are living today. So much of fitness, so much of temptations, from right to left, from front to the back. Wherever you're going to turn around, wherever you're going to face, you'll find temptations. You'll find the fitness. You're going to find the fitness of the internet. You'll find the fitness of even our shuyukh, our scholars, our imams. You're going to even find the fitness of the deen itself. You'll find the fitness of everything. Whatever you think of, you'll find the fitna in that situation. The fitna of the ego also. On ourselves. That's the fitna on its own. So whatever you think of in our time, the aqidah, it's been rotten, it's been corrupted. It's a fitna on its own. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was warning his companions regarding these temptations. And to remain persistent is very, very important. And this is why today, inshallah, we are going to discuss on how we can persist ourselves from these temptations. How we can safeguard our iman. How we can stay away from all these fitnas. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ فَعَلُوا مَا يُوعَظُونَ بِهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that had these people followed the advice of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, if they followed the advice, if they obeyed the advice of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, لَكَانَ خَيْرًا لَهُمْ. It would have been good for them. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has given us the advice on how we can live in this zaman. If we can follow these advices, then it's going to be great for us. وَأَشَدُّ تَثْبِيتًا. And it's going to be the greatest of the persistence. So Rasulullah is giving us the remedy on how we can live in our time. And the first remedy Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is giving us is about take what you know. Take what you know. You know, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he mentioned in the hadith, "Taraktu fikum ithnain," that I have left upon you people two things. In tamassaktum lam tadillu, that if you are going to uphold, if you are going to hold these two things firmly, then you will not go astray. Kitabullah wa sunnati, the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and my sunnah. This is the Rasulullah saying that if you are going to hold this tightly, then you not go astray. The book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the Sharia, well, that is Sharia. The laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sunnati. And though after you have held firmly on the Quran, then also you must follow and you must obey my sunnah. And in this sunnah, one of the way of following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is following the ulama, the correct ulama. Rasulullah, he mentioned in the hadith that man yuridullah bi khayran yufaqqihu fi din, that for whoever if Allah wishes the goodness upon you, then he grants you the deen. And at the same time, in the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said that al-ulama warathatul anbiya, that the ulama, the scholars, they are the inheritance of the anbiya, of the prophets. So they have inherited. So for us to follow these ulama, that means we are following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So in the time we are living, only follow the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sunnah of Rasulullah sallam, and the true scholars of the deen. The question is asking, how do we find out? To follow the Shaykh, you have to look if he is following the Sharia. You find the Shaykh is following the Sharia, then follow him. From his question, Jazakallah, good question. You want to see who is a true peer, then look at if he is following the Sharia. If he is following the Sharia, then follow him. Take the bay'ah on him. So we are living in that time where you need to follow the Quran, you need to follow the Sunnah, and you need to follow these mashayikh. If, my brother, if you are going against this, then you'll find yourself out of doing good things. You'll find yourself that you have been attempted into the fitnas. What are people doing today's time? We're following these non-Muslim celebrities. We're following their way of living. Where you find them, wherever they are being surrounded with all the haram things. We're talking about the alcohol, zina, and all the drugs, and whatever the haram things you want to think of. All these celebrities, that's how they are living. And we are taking them as our role models. We're not following the Quran. The scientists have said, see, this and that and that. What about the Quran, my brother? Or so and so, he said that we have to do like this. Yes, we have to do like this, but that is against the Sharia. You know, they're saying that, yeah, I mustn't take shower every day, regularly. Taking shower, I can take shower at least once in a week. But we're forgetting Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has mentioned the hadith that we have to take shower regularly. And when you ask why, they say, no, because scientists have said we have to take once in a week at least. My brother, where is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? No, that's what the scientists are saying. You are following the scientists, but what about the Quran, the book of Allah, the speech of Allah, the best speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So if we are going to stay away from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're going to find ourselves falling into these temptations. So it's very, very important that we have to follow the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On top of that also, we have to follow the true scholars of the deen. And also another way of persisting yourself, another way of avoiding all these temptations and fitnas is that you make sure that you connect yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how do you connect yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? By connecting yourself with the ulama. As I mentioned earlier in the hadith, that al-ulama warathatul anbiya, that the scholars are the inheritance. They have inherited the prophets. So we need to be connected with the ulama if we want not to go astray. Also, another way of being persistent from these temptations is making istighfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeking His forgiveness abundantly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, istaghfiru rabbakum yursilis samaa alaykum midrara wa yumdidukum bi amwalin wa baninan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning that seek the forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abundantly. Yursilis samaa alaykum midrara, meaning that He's going to send the rain from the skies, abundant rain. The rain is going to be a lot, meaning Allah is going to give you everything. Allah is going to open the doors of the rizq. Allah is going to do everything, whatever you want, if you are going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness abundantly. Allah is going to put you on the right path. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he mentions in the hadith, أن عبد الله ibn al-Asi رضي الله تعالى عنه يقول سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول كل بني آدم, that all the sons, all the offsprings of Nabi Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, all of them, they are in between the two fingers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a parable saying. Allah does, we cannot say Allah has two fingers, but it's in a parable speech. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying that kullu bani Adam bayn usbu'ain, they are in between these two fingers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Usbu'ain Rahman, the fingers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Qalbin wahid. These hearts of these people in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are just like one heart. How many people are in the world right now? Billions and billions. But in Allah's court, it's just like one heart. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He can turn around this heart however He wants. Up to Allah. Imagine one heart. We are billions, but in Allah's court, in Allah's presence, it's just like one heart where He can play with it the way He wants. He can turn it around the way He wants. He can make you a Muslim today or make you a non-Muslim today, right away. However He wants, wherever He wants, whenever He wants, He can do it. So it's easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do whatever He wants on you. So if you just fall a little bit into the haram things, He can turn you to become a kafir. Easy. Nothing is hard. Just like if we're talking about these two fingers and something is here, it's so small. even yourself can just take it like this. This is how we are in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's very important that we persist ourselves, we be very persistent from this fitna of the world, by also making tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As what the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. That for whoever is going to depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. He's the one who's going to be protecting him. You want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you, then depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, you're going to find in today's time, with all these fitnas of this world, you'll find people, we are so much of depending on the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have totally forgotten Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have forsaken Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Something small happens to you, instead of to say, okay, let me ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then we are using the jadus and all that. Something small has happened to you, or now that person maybe, he have the tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Say, Ya Allah, you are the only one, the true protector, Ya Allah. I leave this case in your court, Ya Allah. We are living in the time where, because of so much of temptations and all that, if you are not depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you might find yourself losing the iman. You know, in this time, you're going to find that because of so much temptations, and if you look out there, too many shuyukh on YouTube, on Google, too much information. Just ask one question, Islamic question on the Google, millions and millions of answers there. If you have to jump in and say, okay, I'm going to pick this answer, you find that maybe it's a wrong answer, it's not a true answer. Because Google is something which I can even post. Anyone, whoever wills, can just put whatever he wants. And because of that much of information which is there, there is no true information which you can just say, okay, this is true information. Unless if you're going to follow a certain type of website, which you know, okay, this website is authentic. So, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also gave us a remedy on these kind of things. What we can do, how we can persist ourselves, how we can stay ourselves away from all these haram things, by making the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us that persistence in our hearts. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he used to make this dua, Ya muthabbit al-qulub, thabbit qulubana ala dinik. Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. That, oh, you the one who affirms, who grants this persistence to the hearts, then grant that persistence to my heart, Ya Allah. Let me remain on the straight path. How many of us we are making this dua? Our time is not an easy time to live. Our time is never an easy. If we look back in the times, women were dressed up properly, covering their bodies. In summer, when you just walk on the street here, almost the majority of the women, they are half naked. Even let's say if you want to gaze your eyes, if you want to look down, lowering your gaze, it's not even easy. You just say, okay, let me just go to the park. Women are not dressed well. You say, okay, let me go maybe to the water just to touch the water and feel the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You find all the women are naked there. It's not an easy time. But what we can do on our side, we can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the ithbat, that persistence. Ya muthabbit al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. That, oh ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're only one who can protect, you're only one who can grant this affirmation. Ya Allah, affirm my heart on your deen, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my brothers, it's very, very important that inshallah we try and work on these few of the remedies. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, and I mentioned this ayah earlier, Allah says, وَلَوْ أَنَّهُمْ فَعَلُوا مَا يُوعَظُونَ بِهِ, that had been these people, they followed and they did what I have warned them, what I have advised them, that could have been good for them. So from these few remedies which we have discussed today, if we can try work on them, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is going to grant us that protection from all these fitnas. Just to recap from what I was saying, we are speaking today about, some brother just came now, so inshallah, just to summarize, today we are speaking about persistence from the temptations. We are living in a time where it's hard to live freely, to live properly. So much of temptations. We're talking about zina, alcohol, whatever you think of. Even our own deen, it's been corrupted. The aqidah has been corrupted. Everything, whatever you think of, it's corrupted. Now, how do we live with that? How do we stay away from that? So we are discussing some of the remedies, like for example, to take what you know. Meaning Allah, Rasulullah, he said that you must follow the Quran and the Sunnah and the true scholars, and that's what is well aware and that's authentic. So follow these three things. And at the same time, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he told us to be connected with the scholars, the true scholars, the authentic scholars, and that's what we have to be doing, to be connected with the true scholars and the authentic scholars, and that way they will get us connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And another way of being persistent from these temptations is having tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you will not fear anything. And also, one of the ways of being persistent from the temptations is istighfar, making lots of istighfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and making also the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should affirm our hearts on the true path, on this path of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This takes us to the end of our topic today. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first to make me to obey and follow these steps, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant the tawfiq to all of you that you should follow also this advice. Jazakallah. Salamualaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.